Hey guys, Kev here, and I'm going to do my full review on the left-handed Protech knives SBR, or short-bladed Rockeye. At least I think that's what it's called, short-bladed Rockeye. This is the left-hand version. This was sent to me by Protech, so the good people over there were nice enough to send this my way to review, so I did get this at no cost, so keep that in mind. But it being a new left-hand model from Protech, I would have picked it up more than likely anyway. I'm not sure what the price is on these. I thought they were going to be around the Newport, which is like $170. But it turns out I think they're more like $220-ish or $250-ish. I'm not sure. The Protech's prices have gone up a little bit since I bought that Newport a while ago. And I think that's just inflation, blah, blah, blah. I don't really, doesn't bother me. American-made knife with these materials, I think that price is fine. I just bought a knurled Malibu in reverse Tanto. Finally found one. And that was $260. I mean, the regular Malibu, when I first got it, was $189. So it's just, you know, inflation. That's all it is, and you got to deal with it. It's life, and hopefully you're getting paid more, you know. So anyway, let's get into it. This here is, again, the left-hand version, one of, I think, 5 or 6 models they do now in Lefty. You have the SBR, you have the Newport, you have the Half-Breed, you have the Godfather and the Godson. I think that's it. There might be a TR3 as well, actually. So it's 5 or 6. I'm not sure if the Godfather comes Lefty. I think the Godson does. Anyway, this one here is a aluminum handle. So it's that hard anodized black aluminum that Protech does so well. They're famous for it, essentially. It has this, I guess, spear point blade. It's a Les George design. We've all seen this design, the VECP type design. Rockeye, it's, you know, he kind of draws the same knife every time. It's just a different variation of it, and it's very iconic. This is an acid-washed blade, so again, I'm not the biggest fan of acid washes, but recently they have grown on me. So I actually have a few knives with acid washes, and I like them. This is an S35 VN steel. Again, not sure if you'll catch that there. Gonna catch the right angle, sorry. Hold it the right spot. And there's Les George's maker's mark. And this is made in their Placentia, California location, I believe, or that's where they're located, their factory. It's dead nuts centered, and it's very small. So, you know, I think it's 3 inches or just under 3 inches on the blade. So it's not very big at all. The handle as well, it just fits all 4 fingers if I kind of cram them on. I like to kind of just put this pinky down here on this flat. Well, actually, I guess I do kind of climb up right there. And that's the grip I do. Or I climb up onto the front here and I just have a full grip like this. This one here has an edge on it from my good buddy Joe. He put a mirror edge on it. He left it with the factory angle. So that's all, you know, factory. It's been pretty good. It's obviously a thicker stock, so I guess we can get into the full review type stuff here. Aesthetically, like I said, Les George, it's pretty stock Les George. I like the overall silhouette design, so you know, it's kind of up to you whether you're into that or not. Ergonomics, like I said, I can fit all 4 if I squeeze in or climb up here. It's not the most comfortable knife in the world because of that. If you have a large glove size hand or larger, you're getting to that, you know, maybe it's slightly too small category. If you have a smaller hand than that, I think this would fit you really well. So yeah, cutting, again, it's got thicker stock and it doesn't have the thinnest grinds. It's got a saber grind. The flat grind starts right here. And I cut, of course, shipping labels and such, and it did well with the tip. Spear point, you don't have to lean up too high. Packages, all that stuff, it did very well with. It's a, you know, it's a knife, basically, with a tip, you know. But I did cut some cardboard with it, and you definitely notice it being thicker going through the cardboard. Would I want to spend all day cutting cardboard with this? hell no. It would definitely get uncomfortable real fast, and it doesn't cut through that type of material very well, being a thicker grind, right? It worked, you know, especially with this new edge on it. It went through material well. It just wasn't like awesome, you know what I mean? And it's just a small knife with a thick stock. So, you know, again, I said this in the unboxing, I think. I'm not quite sure what this knife is for. I think it's supposed to be sort of tactical-ish, maybe. And it's not meant for other things. Like, it works for EDC because it's a knife with a tip and an edge, right? But it's not the best EDC knife. And I don't think it would be a great hard use knife, right? I think it could handle those tasks, being thicker stock and or thicker grind, not even that thick on the stock. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. I don't quite understand the purpose of the blade in this size. I get it in the full-size Rockeye because then you have a big old knife, great ergonomics. You're going to be able to really do some heavy-duty stuff with that. This being so small, I don't think that's the case, right? Carry. So I talked to them over at Protech. When I first got this clip felt really tight. I mean, it was a two-hander basically, in and out of pocket. But they said they got a new clip jig and they just needed to dial it in a little bit. And he said just bend it. Like, just lift it and bend it ever so slightly. Like, just bend it very slightly and then test it. Slightly test it. Don't go crazy. People tend to overcorrect. And he said, bend it to where it still feels a little bit stiff, because then it's going to break in. Don't go too far. That's what people tend to do. And I did that. I bent it just slightly, and it started going in and out of pocket much better. It's still a little bit stiff, but like he said, it's breaking in very nicely. I've had no problem with it since. Obviously, it's left-handed, so left-hand carry, front left pocket. It's been fantastic. It's not too heavy for its size. It's not too fat, too short. It's a very good carry. We all know that Protech, they are the kings of the deep carry clip. You have a recessed clip with recessed screws and an excellent clip design. It does not mess with you ergonomically at all. It's just a dream. I love their clip. Sounds. So this is a hard one to gauge because it's not a manual knife. You don't hear a click-click and a click-cling. So I'd say it's definitely pleasing to hear that happen for sure. So I can't, it's hard to rate, but maybe like a 6 or a 7, because it is very nice. So for an automatic, you know, 6 or 7, I'd say. It's not like super like katong, you know, but it's good. So that takes us to action. You have this awesome push button right here. And in my opinion, Protech does it better than anybody. Same with their button locks. And that's essentially what this is, right? Is a plunge lock design. They cut a recess around the button at the height of the button when it's closed, right? And what that allows is enough space around it to get your finger in to push that button without having to like use the tip of your finger. You can kind of just use the meat and get it, but you're not accidentally gonna hit it just like grabbing the knife, you know what I mean? It's just it's a perfect balance in my opinion. And then when it comes to closing the knife, that button is sitting in that same sort of flush position on the frame right there. So when you're gripping the knife to do tasks and whatnot, you're not accidentally depressing it. You just use the meat of your finger, whatever you want to do to get it, and then close it. It's perfect. I've handled a lot of these budget button locks lately, and those are manuals, obviously, but it's the same concept with the plunge lock. And they just have a button that sticks proud of the scale, and you're constantly depressing it on accident. And especially being left-handed. So again, this is, I'm talking about different knives here with the button on the other side. So like this, if you're right-handed, when that button sits proud, if you're trying to do a reverse flick or something, your finger's all up on that button and you just have the knife dongle out. So I just love how Protech does the buttons, how they recess it. Just, they've mastered it. They've mastered it. So the action's good. It kicks. It's got an excellent spring in there. Whoop-ah! I've Loctited this, so it's got no play, and it fires like a freaking cannon every time. You can see it jiggle in my hand when I kick it. Watch. Whisha! It's really good. And then on the close, yes, you have resistance. You push the button. Resistance, resistance. Click. And it clicks into place, and you're good to go. I was easily doing it one-handed like this. No problem. So I really enjoy the action. Protech just has it dialed. It feels more premium than, like, I've handled a Kershaw launch. Yes, those kick, but it just has a refined feeling to it. It's not super gritty in between. It's just smooth all around, even with a spring in there, right? Really enjoy it. I think this is an excellent knife. Like I said, I don't quite understand the purpose of it. But for me, a lot of my knives are EDC knives, so they just need to do EDC things and look cool, right? And have interesting action or something like that. They don't all need to be perfectly functional for a specific situation. Like, this thing will open a letter, a bag, an Amazon box. It'll cut cardboard. It'll do all of that. So it's perfectly fine. And it's tactical. No, I'm just kidding. So, I don't know. I really enjoy it. I'm glad they sent it to me. After handling it and having it for a while, if they took this away from me, would I go buy one for $250 right now, personally? Probably not. But I'm not a big auto guy to begin with. I like the fact that I now have one in the collection. Again, and I will keep this one because I don't sell the ones that companies give me. If anything, I give them away at some point. But I don't sell them, so it'll stick around. But I don't know if I would dish out my $250 for it personally. But a lot of guys are into autos, they're into Protech, they're into Les George, all that stuff, right? So you got to base that on your own situation. I just want to give my feedback. I really appreciate Protech for sending it. I really appreciate the knife. I think it's awesome. And the fact that it's left-handed is super important to me. We're seeing more and more companies come out with left-handed knives. I need them to do a Malibu. Just give me a lefty Malibu, man. Or at least one with a lefty clip. Like, Jesus. But yeah, I just love it. We're seeing the companies do more knives in lefty. I'd like to see more knives that we want. Like, this is a good example. People love the SBR, but like Concept doing the Char, ugh. Technically, the lefty group picked that, but it's like, why? Why? Just do cooler knives. Like, anyway. I love it. Really appreciative to Protech. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Is this one that you want to pick up? Do you own one? If you're right-handed, you probably already know all about this knife. I hadn't experienced it until this lefty version. So, much love, guys. I love you all. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic fucking day. And I will catch you later.